Hello, everyone, and welcome to our virtual Wilkes-Barre Connect Spotlight Series Women in Workforce event. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from four of our area's incredible female entrepreneurs and leaders who not only show up every day ready to contribute to their organizations and communities, but also serve as positive examples for women all across the Valley, proving just how capable and valuable women are to our workforce. We will hear from our featured speaker, Zubeen Saeed, and our three spotlight speakers, KEISINGER, Laura Ducceschi, and Tracey Selingo. But before we jump in, our Wilkes-Barre Connect Spotlight Series events would not be possible without the continued support of Penn State Wilkes-Barre through the Invent Penn State initiative. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Dr. Dale Jones, Chancellor of Penn State Wilkes-Barre, to share some opening remarks and introduce our featured speaker. Dr. Jones.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Wilkes-Barre Connect's Women's Entrepreneurial Spotlight event. I'm Dr. Dale Jones, Chancellor and Chief Academic Officer at Penn State Wilkes-Barre. We are proud to partner with Wilkes-Barre Connect on its Spotlight series through Invent Penn State, a Commonwealth-wide initiative centered on economic development and entrepreneurship. In your own backyard at Penn State Wilkes-Barre and across all Penn State Commonwealth campuses, we are committed to cultivating a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship. Today's featured speaker exemplifies this spirit of progress. I'm pleased to introduce Ms. Zubeen Saeed, President and CEO of Building Blocks Learning Center. Saeed holds an associate degree in early childhood education, a bachelor's degree in organizational management, and a master's degree in organizational leadership. In 2001, she founded Building Blocks Learning Center on the principle that children should always be valued and respected. A lifelong learner herself, Saeed's vision is to establish a global educational network that supports young children's academic and emotional development. Saeed's professional journey epitomizes entrepreneurship, and it is my pleasure to welcome her to this spotlight event where you will hear from her about the child care barrier that women face as they return to the workforce. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Zubeen Saeed.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me be part of the Wilkes-Barre Chamber Spotlight series. I'm excited and honored to share a little bit about my experience as an entrepreneur and share my thoughts on the workforce of women entering the workforce and the barriers they might see. My name is Zubeen Saeed, and I am the President and CEO of Building Blocks Learning Center. Building Blocks Learning Center are childcare programs that are in Luzerne County, and we provide care for parents looking for infant through pre-K. And we also have expanded into providing before and after care services in our local school districts. My journey did not start out as an entrepreneur. I was not set out to open a business or to be a business leader. My journey in business started out from a need. I needed to support my family, I needed to continue going to school, and I needed to make a living. And my parents were very instrumental in that they guided me to say, hey, if you want to do that, why don't you do something convenient and easy and babysit? So I started literally babysitting in my parents' home while going to school, while putting my husband through school, and while just working at home. And over the next 5 years, I loved what I did. I got a joy out of working with children. I learned the importance of what early childhood education can be on a child, what kind of impact it can have. And that was it. I just focused on that from going to school full-time. I started going to school part-time and started just watching children in my home and become a full-time nanny over the 5 years. But there came a time my parents were like, hey, what do you plan to do? You can't do this forever watching children. You need to make a decision of starting a career, of finishing your school. And at the same time, there was an opportunity that presented itself in Luzerne County. I was living in Philadelphia at that time when I was doing the in-home care. But my parents lived in Luzerne County, and they said, hey, if you want to do something, there's a childcare program that has shut down here. If you want to come up and maybe see if you can open it and run a childcare center. I was scared. I was ready to work with children. I was okay in front of children, but to employ people, to work with adults, I was not ready for. But I knew I had to make a move. I either give up being the in-home nanny care and then start my job, or I pursue this because I loved what I did. So with a lot of courage and support from my family and a credit card, I was able to purchase this business. It was located by the Woodlands, and it was the first center that I had opened in 2001. I know a lot of times people ask, what are the challenges you faced when opening something, or as a female in our area, what were some of the challenges? And I think I was very fortunate to have a community that really supports that. Even back in 2001, there were many community partners, the chamber, different resources that were out there that I was able to tap into. And I looked at that because that was what helped me get to a point that I was, getting formal training in what to do in a business setting, working with different accountants and learning different aspects of what I needed to do to just start my business. And that really helped me sustain myself for the next few years. I was able to, with that support, open 2 more locations. And I found myself over the course of those 8 years being happy, loved what I did. I worked 7 days a week, even though the business was only open 5. I was nonstop. I was involved with every aspect from hiring to staffing to business, billing, accounting, every aspect of it, and also working in the locations. I was a direct manager at one of the locations. And again, like I said, I did that for many years. But it got to a point that I had gone to a seminar just learning about managing business, that it made me reflect and realize that I can continue running the businesses for probably the next 10, 20 years. Or I need to make a shift from running a business to managing the business. And I think that shift was very pivotal for me, because when I realized that, wait, I'm running in the business, in fact, the business is running me, that if I shift it and I decide to manage the business, that it would give me a different insight and a different type of perspective on how to take it to the next level. And when I made that shift from running it to managing it and kind of stepped back a little bit, that's when the business exponentially grew. But more than that, that's when I grew as a leader. I think it gave me time to reflect, to let me see that, wait, if I'm doing day-to-day things, I won't be able to grow and expand. So when I stepped back, it gave me a lot of reflection on how to manage the business. And the business kind of went in its next phase at that point. We were able to add on and grow a lot more. I think today we have over 10 locations. There's over 100 employees and about 20 administrators. So going from, managing or working in my parents' basement to now being at that part, it takes a lot of deliberate conversations, of deliberate pathways that you have to take to get to that point. And I think anybody looking to go into a business or develop a business, I think it's important for you to kind of recognize there are many ingredients that are needed to be successful or to be in business. And I think it's very important that as an entrepreneur, as a business leader, as someone that wants to start a business, those are key things that you need to make sure that you cultivate and you develop. People always ask about luck. I do think a sprinkle of luck does not hurt. A sprinkle of love should always be accepted and appreciated and valued. But more than luck, I think you need making sure you survive through what you want to do and making sure you achieve what you want to achieve. I think a lot of times people ask, as a woman, have you had any barriers, or have you managed any barriers that you had to get through to be where you are today? I think females have many challenges that they face in the workforce, whether you're an entrepreneur starting, a female entrepreneur starting, or if you're looking to go back to work. What do you do with the barriers of childcare that you have? I think as a community, we need to recognize it. As a country, we need to recognize it, that what can we do to help support women in the workforce? As a female entrepreneur, I recognize there can be challenges, but those challenges didn't define my pursuit for the growth of my business. They only helped me stronger. I think to succeed in business, I focused on 3 major ingredients. One was willingness, the willingness to try, the willingness to fail, and the willingness to continue. I think if you have willingness, you're unstoppable then, because then nothing can be a hurdle for you. I think intention is important. It's important to set goals for yourself, set goals for your family, set goals for your business. You don't need to share those intentions with anybody, but you need to define it for yourself. And the third one is perseverance, to stay on your path. Despite the bumps, despite the hurdles, I think your success is built on how you navigate through them. I think there are barriers for women as they enter the workforce, especially now more than ever with COVID. I think in Luzerne County, a recent study showed 50% of women are single parents. And on the flip side, 54% of employers shared that their employees left because of childcare issues. So what can we do to rebuild the women in our workforce? There's many things I know throughout our county. The chamber and different programs are working to support women entering the workforce. But I think a couple of things we can focus on is subsidized childcare. I know it's available, but I think it's important for employers to know that that's a resource for their employees. So if a woman employee, a female employee goes to apply for a job and she has childcare issues, it would be great if companies can then give that as a resource and show them how they can get that. So some of their partial childcare can be paid through this program. I think it's important to also develop attainable pathways in trade schools or trade programs for women. I know, again, more than ever, we're talking about it, but if we can make that available for women and make them aware that it's out there, I think it could be stronger and can improve women entering the workforce. And the third is creating a networking hub. I know we're working very hard in Luzerne County to get to that point, but there are so many wonderful communities out there and community partners out there that are developing different type of programs for women. But if we can create this networking hub so it's more accessible and so more women are aware that there are things out there, because it's very easy as a human being to look at these things as hurdles or challenges. But if you know there's resources out there and it's easily accessible, it's going to make us stronger to return into the workforce. So I hope, just this moment of me sharing my personal stories and my thought can enlighten anybody. More than anything, I think if somebody can walk away empowered, knowing that anybody can do this as long as you set the intention, you have the willingness, and you persevere, you can be able to achieve anything you set out to do. So thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts and my story, and see everybody soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zubeen, for your insights, and a special thank you to you and your entire team at Building Blocks for being such supporters of our youth, our community, and women all across the Valley. Up next, we have Dr. Christine KEISINGER, founder and lead facilitator of CEK Communication. After a 30-year history in academia as a professor of communication studies, Dr. KEISINGER departed to create a more integrative approach to her work. As the founder of CEK Communication, Christine regularly creates and facilitates professional development trainings in the areas of leadership, team dynamics, workplace cultures that thrive, relational health, conflict resolution, stress, and trauma. Known for her more dynamic presentational style, Christine's trainings are solidly grounded in the most innovative approaches to her subject matter. Most recently, amid the pandemic, requests for Christine's expertise in the areas of trauma sensitivity and competency hit an all-time high, especially for those in the caring professions. Hallmark to her work in this area is Christine's emphasis on the communicative, relational, and somatic nature of trauma and trauma recovery. In addition to her lifelong vocation as a teacher, Christine is a published author, retreat leader, guest blogger, podcast guest, and interviewer. She most recently co-authored the book Narrating Midlife, Crisis, Transition, and Transformation. So I'd love to extend a warm welcome to Christine as she talks to us a little bit about mastering confidence through mindfulness and mindset. Welcome, Christine.
Hi, I'm Christine KEISINGER, and I am so honored to be here with you today for this Spotlight series on women and workforce. I thought that I would spend my time with you today talking a little bit about confidence. Confidence both as a mindset and as an embodied practice. And what I mean by that is that confidence can be a way of being, a way of moving through the world. So I want to begin with the mindset part. And I want to share with you that the way that I think about confidence is that it contains two qualities. The first is strength, and the other, believe it or not, is self-compassion. So I want you to just think about this for a moment. The aspect of confidence that is related to strength. There are 3 questions that I ask myself around that. Question number 1, to what degree am I protective of myself? To what degree am I setting boundaries? To what degree am I saying no to the things that don't serve me or that are distractions from my true purpose? To what degree do I feel stable and solid within myself? So there's the protective piece. And then there's the providing piece. Am I providing for myself? Am I providing for myself in ways that make me feel good? Am I providing for myself in ways that are truly beneficial to my well-being, all aspects of my well-being? And connected to that is the third quality under strength, which is self-motivation. To what degree am I intrinsically motivated? Can I really, really dig deep when things get hard and chaotic and overwhelming and reorient myself so that I'm back on track, so that my work and my relationships and just the way that I conduct myself in the world feels really purposeful? So confidence is about that kind of strength, the strength to be protective of self, to be providing for self, and to be self-motivated. And then there's this softer, more tender quality of confidence that's really about self-compassion. And the first aspect or quality of that piece, the self-compassionate piece of your own confidence, is nurturance. Do you nurture yourself? Do you feed yourself well? Are you well hydrated? Are you nurtured through rest? Are you nurtured through healthy relationships and positive connections? Are you nurtured through meaningful work? Are you nourished? What are you taking into the system? What are you reading? What are you focusing on? What are you watching? How are those things interacting with your system? Are they contributing to your health and well-being? Or are they robbing you of health and well-being? And the third quality of the self-compassionate part of confidence is benevolence. Utter benevolence toward yourself, just to look upon yourself with kind eyes, to think about yourself in kind ways, and to turn all of the energies of benevolence that you might share with others onto yourself every once in a while, and to allow yourself to be held in those energies. So we think about confidence, think about strength. Am I protecting myself? We think about providing. Am I providing for myself? And am I intrinsically self-motivated? And then there are those softer qualities. Am I nurturing myself? Am I nourishing myself? And am I allowing myself that beautiful benevolence and self-kindness? So when those 2 qualities are present, the strength and the self-compassion piece, we have what my favorite author, teacher, scholar describes as the strong back, the soft front, and the wild heart. And that's the practice that I want to share with you today. And you can refer to it very simply as strong back, soft front, wild heart. So I'd like to invite you, if you're in a place where you feel safe to do so, to please close your eyes and to just start to take several long, deep breaths, just to begin settling down the system. You can use this whenever you want as a beautiful meditation to connect you to strength and self-compassion. So just continue to breathe long, deep, and even. And I just want you to bring your awareness to your own back. You may even want to sit up a little bit taller, yet remain relaxed. And I'd like for you to just reflect upon your own backbone. And I mean this literally. This beautiful spine that keeps you upright as often as you need. This beautiful spine that supports and holds up your structure, your physical structure. But when we focus also on the back, we can begin to think about our own strength, the way that we move through the world, feeling like we have our own backs. That in any situation that you find yourself in, you can come in from a place of strength where you feel that you've got backbone. And I also want you to think about this. All of the women in your life that have stood behind you, that would be behind you in those moments where you really need support. These are women who are currently in your life, women who may have departed already. These are women in your ancestry that you may have never met, that have paved the way for you. Sometimes in my most nerve-wracking moments, that's what I think about. The strength of the women behind me. So when you're in a tough or difficult moment, when your confidence is waning, just take a moment and just become aware of your back, strong back. Continue to breathe long, deep, and even. And now please bring your awareness to the front of the body. Maybe allow those shoulders to relax as you just begin to soften through the heart and the chest and even the lungs. And even allowing the belly to soften. Many women carry a lot of their stress and tension in the upper chest region. Just allow this region to just relax, as if all that stress is just melting away. And this begins to create an openness. Supported by a strong back, I can move through the world with a soft front. I can be open. I can stay connected to myself and to others with a soft front. And when I move myself out of defensiveness, stress, and overwhelm, I show up as someone who can diffuse negativity out of situations. I show up as someone who, even in moments of conflict, can arrive very confident, very supported, yet really calm and open to this person in front of me that I might be in conflict with. Strong back, soft front. And now, if you would, just please take your right hand and just allow it to come right to the center of your chest. as we bring the hand into the space of the heart. And did you know that the mere act of placing the hand over or near to the heart almost immediately calms and soothes the central nervous system? But as we're in this practice, I want you to think about all the ways in which this beautiful heart of yours is inherently wild, whimsical, that this beautiful heart of yours has a carefree, highly creative, innovative nature to it. That this beautiful heart of yours has loved and will continue to love, has lost and will continue to lose, has been filled up and has been broken wide open. And that there is a beauty to the wildness of a woman's heart. And that so much of that beauty shows up when we're connected to our own hearts, connected to our own truth, connected to our own purpose, connected to meaningful relationships to self, to others, to the world, to our work. So continuing to breathe long, deep, and even. And just reviewing the 3 touchstones of this practice. Strong back, soft front, wild heart. Your confidence is rooted in your strength, in your softness, in the beauty of your wild nature. Please feel free to remain in the beautiful energy of this practice as you remember that confidence can be embodied in this way. The next time you find yourself in a difficult or anxious situation, stand a little taller in your spine. Relax deeply through the front of the body and just connect to your beautiful heart. Confidence is a mindset and an embodied practice. Strength, self-compassion, strong back, soft front, wild heart. I hope you enjoyed this practice. Thank you for being here with me today. Be well, stay well.
Thank you again, Christine. I know just how helpful those practices are to me personally, and it means so much to know that there are resources like yours available to help navigate some of the really difficult situations that come across in everyday life. And I know that a lot of the people watching this might agree. So thank you so much for sharing that with us today. Our next spotlight for this event is Laura Ducceschi, President and CEO of the Scranton Area Community Foundation. In her role, she administers over 200 charitable funds and 2 separate private foundations and helps guide the philanthropic initiatives of those in our community. In addition, she oversees grant funding, which throughout the years has provided over $18 million in support of educational, human service, environmental, health, civic, arts, and cultural organizations, and to improve the quality of life in our area. Laura has spearheaded many regional initiatives aimed at catalyzing change. These include the Center for Community Leadership and Nonprofit Excellence, NEPA Moves, Women in Philanthropy, and the NEPA Animal Welfare Collaborative, all to benefit the surrounding communities. Other initiatives that she has led at the foundation include establishing the Medallion Partnership Program at the foundation and the NEPA COVID-19 Fund. Laura has an MBA in Organizational Management from Drexel University's LeBeau College of Business, an MA in Communication from the Annenberg School of Communication at the University of Pennsylvania, and a BA in Communication from the University of Scranton, where she graduated summa cum laude. She is a chartered advisor in philanthropy and a certified fundraising executive. She has a certificate in change management from Cornell University, and she is a green belt in Lean Six Sigma. So with all that being said, I am so excited to introduce Laura and welcome her to the spotlight stage.
Hi, my name is Laura Ducceschi, and I'm President and CEO of the Scranton Area Community Foundation. I'm originally from Northeastern Pennsylvania, where I attended school up and through college graduation. And then I moved to Philadelphia for graduate studies and remained in the Philadelphia region for 15 years, pursuing a master's degree in communication and an MBA, and working for nonprofit organizations both in philanthropic roles, program development and management, and advocacy. I was grateful to relocate back to Northeastern Pennsylvania in 2012 to take the position of President and CEO for the Scranton Area Community Foundation and to help continue to move the foundation forward into the next phase of community place-based philanthropy. It's a gift to be able to lead the community foundation in the community that I was raised and to help support the many causes and programs that make our communities in Northeastern Pennsylvania so special. The Scranton Area Community Foundation is a public charitable foundation that has been connecting philanthropic resources with community needs since 1954. At the foundation, I lead a dedicated team and have the pleasure of working with an independent, community-minded, and generous board of governors, where we live our mission of being a catalyst, a convener, a grant maker, and a charitable steward, connecting resources with community needs in the Lackawanna County and beyond. The Scranton Area Community Foundation has over $55 million in assets and another $35 million in assets under management. We live in a very generous community, as there are over 230 individual charitable funds which were established to help individuals and organizations carry out their highest philanthropic aspirations. These include donor-advised funds, scholarships, trusts, and nonprofit endowment funds. And over the years, the foundation has been able to distribute well over $22 million in grants to our community, with over $4 million distributed last year alone. In my role as President and CEO, I act as a philanthropic advisor, a fundraiser, a leader, a manager, a strategist, and an entrepreneur. As a learning organization, the Scranton Area Foundation is constantly innovating and serving as change leaders and catalysts in order to help increase the regional quality of life in our area. The Scranton Area Community Foundation expanded upon its connection to supporting entrepreneurship in 2014, as we established it as a key priority through our newly launched Women in Philanthropy initiative. At the time, leading practices and community foundations nationwide were encouraging funders to support and catalyze entrepreneurship as a component of inclusive economic development and to spearhead more vibrant communities. One of the highlights of my work to date leading the foundation has been establishing the Women in Philanthropy initiative at the Scranton Area Community Foundation. Since its inception in 2014, Women in Philanthropy, or WIP, has focused on empowering and transforming the lives of low to moderate income women, girls, and their families in Northeastern Pennsylvania. So WIP engages our supporters, our partners, and our donors in a unique and a transformative form of collective decision-making and philanthropy to help move women and their families from places of disempowerment and poverty to levels of personal empowerment and economic self-sufficiency. We continually respond to issues that matter most to women, girls, and their families in Northeastern Pennsylvania. And entrepreneurship and financial education has been a very important part of that. With the extraordinary generosity of over 100 women in philanthropy supporters and partners, we've been able to make a critical impact on the lives of women and girls and their families. In an effort to remain barrier breakers, we want to remain visionaries and catalysts and continue to look to ways to innovate within that space. So some examples beyond entrepreneurship have provided significant community support in COVID emergency grants, STEAM education for over 2,000 students, full scholarships for students looking to earn associate's degree while in high school, restorative dental services to women looking to begin employment, and many other key accomplishments. And I'm proud of the impact we have made together in helping to support women entrepreneurs in Northeastern Pennsylvania. Examples of this include, WIP has provided loan, capital, and training support to help launch nearly 15 local women-owned businesses in Northeastern Pennsylvania in partnership with People Security Bank and the Small Business Development Center at the University of Scranton, and grant support to 21 women business owners in Lackawanna County facing hardship due to COVID-19. Through this generous support, many women and their families have benefits, and all of the loan interest has gone into escrow accounts, which serves as savings accounts for the women when the loan is completed. Additionally, 70 women have gained financial confidence through financial education and have saved a collective total of $320,000 through a dollar-for-dollar matching program supported by Women in Philanthropy. This allows women to build a savings account to invest in their business, purchase a home, auto, or finance further education. Over 120 women have received certification through a special curriculum program with the Women's Entrepreneurship Center and the Kenya School of Management of the University of Scranton. Through this, financial education is provided by Women in Philanthropy executives, entrepreneurs, and financial professionals. Through the foundation, in partnership with the Small Business Development Center and People Security Bank, Women in Philanthropy supporters review business plans, loan applications, and offer insight support and mentorship. This focus on entrepreneurship and financial education removes many of the barriers faced by women in their pursuit of becoming economically independent and helps to create a path for women to obtain necessary funding so they can make their business a success. It's rewarding for me and for many others involved with the Scranton Area Foundation to see many of these entrepreneurs thriving in their businesses today, adding so much vitality to our communities and serving to inspire so many other women and girls in Northeastern Pennsylvania. I look forward to our continuance of supporting entrepreneurs in the Northeastern Pennsylvania region.
Thank you so much, Laura, for all the great work that you're doing to support female entrepreneurs in our region and also for building up our community in general. This leads me to our final spotlight for this event, Tracey Selingo. Tracey is the founder and chair of Fork Over Love, which is a socially innovative 501c3 devoted to changing the narrative on food insecurity by engaging struggling restaurants to cook for the neighbors in need. Tracey's life mission is to help people move the world they usually carry on their shoulders under their feet. She spent 30 years assisting businesses to build bridges between the hearts of their brand and the soul of their customers. In addition, she has spent 11 years guiding women to embrace their divinity and elevate their life. She draws on a deep understanding of intuitive intelligence to see life from angles that inspire creativity, growth, compassion, courage, acceptance, belonging, wholeness, and love. Tracey holds an MA in advertising from SI Newhouse School of Public Communication at Syracuse University and a BA in communication from the University of Scranton. She is a certified Usui Reiki master, earth medicine school shaman practitioner, and open heart project meditation instructor. She is the proud mother of 2 young men, and she lives in Shavertown, Pennsylvania, with her husband Dave and their dog Tuck. So with that, I would love to give the floor to Tracey to finish us off strong today.
Hi, I'm Tracey Selingo. I've spent the bulk of my professional career plugged into marketing. helping people, places, and things come together and connect for profit. I've also spent the past 11 years on a spiritual deep dive, helping myself and other women understand just how sacred our connection within ourselves and to the world around us really is. Now, you might not think that those two areas have anything in common, marketing and spirituality, but they do. They share the common thread of connection. I can tell you that the spiritual deep dive was completely eye-opening, and it continues to be so. But what I couldn't tell you is just how perfect of a prelude that deep dive would be to the work that I'm currently doing. I'm coming to you today as the founder of Fork Over Love, a 501c3 organization dedicated to changing the narrative on food insecurity by nourishing our entire community. I'd like to tell you that I had some grand plan in place, but I didn't. I founded Fork Over Love on a wing and a prayer. As someone who is completely type A and always leaning into perfectionism, always trying to do things by the book, always trying to have all the answers, I had to acknowledge that I had no answers and that there was no book as I thought about forming Fork Over Love. And I want to tell you, it was the most freeing experience of the world. Acknowledging and releasing the need to have a solution enabled me to create the space where I was able to invite a group of brilliant women to come together and help me discover what that solution might be. And that's exactly what we did within our first 2 hours of meeting on January 8th, 2021. I think it's really important to acknowledge that our first meeting on Zoom happened in the midst of pandemic chaos and national upheaval. And I think each of the women who met that day brought with them their own hunger for hope, their own hunger to help our community find common ground and stabilize in the midst of so much struggle and uncertainty. We decided that in order to do the work we wanted to do, we would strengthen our small independent restaurant community by paying them to cook hot, delicious takeout meals that we would then take and distribute to our entire community for free. We knew that doing this would help the restaurants feel a bit more stable, help the restaurants anchor in and do what they know and love how to do, which is cook food. And it would help our food insecure neighbors have the space to come and receive delicious food with absolute dignity and zero shame or stigma. I don't know that any of us could have guessed what the results would be, but they've been absolutely stunning. Last week, we held our 35th free community dinner, and we've served over 12,000 meals at this point and reinvested more than $120,000 back into our restaurant community. All of this on a wing and a prayer. You might not think that that's the best business plan, but I think it's honestly the only business plan that could have worked for this situation. Doing it in that way enabled me to release any expectation or any outcome of how this might happen. I believe that faith and trust are the two most important tools in every human's toolbox, and that includes entrepreneurs. And they're also two things that we all have within ourselves. To think that this all started with a giant nudge that I knew I needed to follow and nothing more still blows my mind. But I'm so happy that I didn't let fear convince me not to do it. I hope this reminds you that you have this within yourself. And I know whatever your profession is, whether you're ready to go out on a wing and a prayer, whether you're thinking about going out on a wing and a prayer, I know that where you are in your profession is training you for exactly where you need to go with it. I believe that we're all here on the planet to do something on a wing and a prayer at some point, and then to sit back and witness the sheer awe of the way that can ripple out for the greater good. I believe that love is the currency that connects us, and that when we tap into it, anything can happen. I hope that you tap into yours sooner rather than later, because the world needs you.
Thank you so much, Tracey, for sharing your story with us and for being so committed to supporting our community. We love Fork Over Love. We love everything that you do, and we're so, so excited to see you grow here and make such an amazing impact in the region. And with that concludes our lineup of speakers for today's Spotlight event. We are once again so happy that we get the chance to bring awareness to these women and show how incredible their work is and how crucial they are to our community. These women are all such inspiring leaders in that they not only persisted through obstacles to get to where they are today, but they did so while lifting other women up and giving them the resources, the encouragement, and the support that they need to accomplish their own goals. So we can't thank them enough for the continuous effort that they're putting in every single day to contribute to this community and ultimately to help others do the same. If you'd like to connect with any of the speakers that you've heard from today, I strongly encourage you to reach out to them via the websites, social media handles, and emails listed here. As you just saw, these women are doing amazing things for our region, and their resources and their life's work can do nothing but provide a tremendous impact to our workforce and our valley as a whole. So I strongly encourage you to take advantage of that if you can. I want to again thank Dr. Jones, Chancellor of Penn State Wilkes-Barre, for sponsoring our Spotlight events. We absolutely could not do it without your partnership and your support through the Invent Penn State initiative. A huge thank you to our featured speaker, Zubeen Saeed, for your contributions, and of course to our three amazing spotlights, Dr. KEISINGER, Laura Ducceschi, and Tracey Selingo, for participating today. We wish you all the best of luck in what you do, and thank you again for being such positive role models, not just to the women in this workforce, but to aspiring leaders all across the community. And with that concludes our Wilkes-Barre Connect Women in Workforce Spotlight Series event. Be on the lookout for our next installment of Spotlight in November. So with that, I hope you all stay safe and thank you for watching.